For the past month, we've been working on a pathway. On the surface, it might just look like we're moving dirt, laying stone, and trying to make our property a little more beautiful. But as we were working, I couldn't help but think about how much this pathway reminds me of life. The truth is, every meaningful path starts with uncertainty. Before there was a trail, there was just ground, untouched, uneven, full of obstacles. And if I'm honest, that's exactly how life feels. Sometimes God places a dream, a calling, or a new direction on our hearts, but He doesn't hand us a finished roadmap. Instead, He asks us to take the first step. And often that first step is into a place where we can't see the entire path ahead. When we started this project, we had a vision of what we wanted it to become. We could picture where the pathway would lead, but getting there wasn't as simple as laying down a few stones. There was digging, there was sweat, there were unexpected challenges, and there were moments when it looked messier than when we started. Life works that way too. Sometimes God begins a work in us, and before things look better, they actually look worse. Old habits get exposed, comfort zones get challenged, plans change, doors close. And we find ourselves standing in the middle of a mess, wondering if we're even moving in the right direction. But maybe the mess isn't a sign that something is wrong. Maybe it's evidence that something is being built. You can't build a strong path without disturbing the ground first. And you can't become who God created you to be without some stretching, refining, and growing along the way. The beautiful thing about faith is that God doesn't ask us to have everything figured out. He simply asks us to trust Him enough to keep taking the next step, one stone at a time, one prayer at a time, one day at a time. And before long, what once seemed impossible begins to take shape. As we look around our little corner of the hills here, we're reminded that some of the most beautiful things take time. Trees do not grow overnight, gardens do not bloom in a day, and meaningful lives are not built in a moment. They're built through faithfulness, through perseverance, through trusting God when the path ahead isn't completely clear. One thing I've learned is that forging a new path is rarely something we're meant to do alone. God gives us people to walk alongside us. For me, that's my husband. Together, we've faced challenges, celebrated victories, made mistakes, and learned lessons. And through it all, we've seen God's faithfulness. Not because everything went perfectly, but because He never left us in the middle of the process. Maybe you're watching this today and you're standing at the beginning of a new path. Maybe God is calling you to something new, a new chapter, a new dream, a new season. Or maybe you're right in the middle of the messy part and wondering if all the hard work is worth it. If that's you, I hope you'll remember this pathway, because every beautiful trail starts with a single step. Every strong foundation starts with breaking ground. And sometimes the messiest seasons are the very ones God uses to create something incredible. So keep going, keep trusting, keep building, and keep following the path God has placed before you. We know it's not always easy, but it is worth it in the end, because what He's creating is often far greater than what we can see while we're still in the middle of the work. Life isn't about finding the easiest path. It's about faithfully walking the one God has called us to. And sometimes the most beautiful destinations are found on the paths we were brave enough to build.